What it is, what it do, cyber world. It is your girl, the one, the only. Ash said it. AshSaidIt.com. AshSaidIt.com. Welcome to the Ash Said It Daily Podcast Show. I appreciate you guys for all of your love and support. Over 1,600 episodes and 500,000 streams worldwide. None of this would be possible without you guys, so I thank you so very much. And yes, we are hopefully, fingers crossed, on the heels of this pandemic stuff, you guys. I know it's been a little gloomy for the last year and some change. And not just for people, for everyone. Organizations, all kinds of programs have been on pause or halted in one fashion or another. So I definitely wanted to make sure that I highlighted one of my favorite nonprofits of all time. So I've got the wonderfully talented and just glorious, just one of my favorite human beings, Molly from Bert's Big Adventure. Hey, Molly.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us. I know that you guys are busy, and kudos to, the big thing that happened in March, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But so Molly, for people that are not aware, what is Bert's Big Adventure?
Yeah, so Bert's Big Adventure is a nonprofit. We were founded in 2002. We've been around for a little bit. We're headquartered in Atlanta, but really all over the U.S., serve families all over the U.S. And what we're known for is, kind of what sparkles and glitters, right,
Yeah.
is our 5-day, all expenses paid journey to Walt Disney World for children that have terminal illnesses and chronic illnesses. And we take everyone in the family. So it's, a lot of times with children who have disabilities or an illness, grandma and grandpa are there to help, and uncle might be there to help. So we take everyone in the family under the same roof that's impacted by the illness. And so the trip is just so beautiful. It's so much more than just a vacation. We usually take about 80 family members with us, and the families just create these really incredible bonds. A lot of them, when we ask them when we get back, what was your favorite part? You'd be surprised. They don't say, it was meeting Mickey Mouse, or it was seeing the castle, or riding the roller coaster. They all say, it was meeting the other kids and being around other families that kind of understand the challenges that we go through and kind of the day-to-day grind that we are subjected to. And so they really create these amazing bonds while they're on the trip. And then on top of that, and kind of like what I think is so beautiful about Bert's Big Adventure and what really sets us apart is the trip is not just sort of a one and done. So we don't do a beautiful trip and then it's over, right? We really have learned that the connections that they make on this trip are so important to their, just well-being. And so we have other programs. So basically, once they go on that journey to Walt Disney World, that's sort of like their initiation into our programs. And so they are part of our programs for the rest of time, for as long as they want to be involved. And so we have a couple other programs. We have our family reunions, which are so fun. We have one coming up on Sunday, where we invite all of the families who have gone on all of the trips, which most of our reunions now are like 450 people or something like that.
Wow.
Just get them together, and it's really great because they can kind of recreate the bonds they made on the trip with families that may have been on the same trip, but they also can kind of create friendships with kids from other years. So, if kids from 2018 has leukemia, they might meet kids from 2014 that has leukemia, and they really just kind of have this instant bond and understanding of each other. And we do those quarterly. Of course, last year with COVID, that was very challenging. We did a lot of virtual reunions, like many nonprofits out there. But we're kind of finally starting to move back into the space of having super socially distanced in-person reunions. And so we're doing a drive-in movie. And, of course, the have to stay separated. And, there's lots of rules and masks and all of the things that we're all pretty much used to at this point. But those are really special events. We do those 4 times a year. We also have a fairy godparent program where anytime one of our kids is in the hospital, we send a volunteer every day, and they take a warm meal and activity like painting nails or building Legos.
Yeah.
And so, most of our kids, when they go into the hospital, it's usually an average of 3 weeks, but sometimes that can be up to 8 months.
Yeah.
And so we just have like this incredible group of volunteers that help us with that. And then we also have kind of an emergency service. So anytime one of our kids is kind of nearing end of life and passes away, we cover the cost of any end of life services. So funeral, burial, remembrance services, anything like that. We just kind of felt that the last thing a family needs to be worried about when they're trying to grieve is financial stability. And of course, when you have a child with special needs or a disability or an illness, the money goes out the door real fast.
Yeah, it does.
And so that's something we felt, the families don't need to be worrying about finances during that time. So that's kind of another piece of the puzzle. But it's just a really beautiful group of families that, it's nice to know that they aren't feeling alone and that they have each other. They can lean on each other. It's just such an honor to serve and to kind of be a part of everything that First State Venture has going on.
Yeah, definitely. So as we were talking before, COVID has just altered our entire existence forever in ways that we never, we never could have ever imagined. So it's affected families, it's affected individuals, but also nonprofits are out there like you guys, and it was affecting you guys as well. So what was the mind space as you guys got into Jersey Mike's Day of Giving? That's that big event that happens every year. You guys do it every year. What was the thought process this year?
Yeah, so, last year COVID hit. It's, always the last Wednesday in March. This is our 11th year. Last year, like if you kind of think about the timeline, COVID hit right before the scheduled 10th annual Jersey Mike's Day of Giving. And it was canceled last year. And so, for good reason, we didn't know very much about it. There was a lot of fear and still is. So, after last year, we were nervous. We were very nervous, just like every nonprofit. We were worried, that our donors were going to, make priorities elsewhere, which would be completely understandable.
Right.
But we certainly were a little panicked there, and we did our best to get creative. But coming into this year, we really, Ashley, you would not believe our goal for this year was $100,000.
Yeah.
We really wanted to make $125,000. That was really our sweet spot, because we wanted to kind of break this benchmark that we were shooting for. And we really didn't know, were people comfortable, ordering and picking up? Were people comfortable with Uber? Were people comfortable with maybe an expense that, can they afford the expense to kind of wing a nice lunch, whether that's just for themselves or for coworkers or whatever. And the Day of Giving, it rained all day. Could it?
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
It was bad. It rained all day, and we were really down in the dumps. And we really thought, you know what, we are about to have to go into panic mode. And, we just we held on, and we just tried to do our best to kind of navigate the day. The social media was really, crazy that day, but, it's just really hard to know. And we were up all night just praying and hoping that we would, that the turnout would be great. And I still am in shock. I'm still waiting for someone to call and say, whoops, there was an extra zero there or whatever. But I think we had our call with Jeff Sponsler from Jersey Mike's, and he told us that we raised $375,000, which is triple what we're hoping for. Certainly did not expect it. When I say we're still in shock, it's just cannot believe the support. And, I think what we kind of learned, not just through Jersey Mike's, but through the last year is, people want to help. I think people genuinely want to serve and want to help others. And, it's kind of just like giving people a really easy way to do it. And the timing just must have been right. I think people at this point, because of COVID, are sort of used to ordering Uber Eats or ordering online delivery or kind of ordering and picking up quickly in store. It must have just been the perfect storm of helpers wanting to help and people feeling comfortable. And I mean, we're ecstatic, and it certainly brings some relief, in terms of just sort of making sure that we can keep this promise that we made to these families, that we would kind of keep them together for forever, and that they would, never be alone. And I think there was a minute when we questioned if we'd be able to do that. And so this really is such a relief for us, but also just such a blessing for these families and what we plan to do, by keeping these families together in the future.
Absolutely. I think it's just a beautiful thing and just a testament, like you said, people want to help. People want to give where they can give. And for those that don't really know too much about Jersey Mike's Day of Giving, it's 100% of the profits go to Bert's Big Adventure. And I was watching the social that day, and I was seeing the hashtag, and I was checking. I was like, wow. It honestly, to me, from the outside looking in, because I have no stake in it, but from the outside looking in, it was so, I was like, wow, like there is even more attention. There's even more retweets. There's so many people that are, oh my gosh, it just went, or oh my gosh, I just ordered it, or it just arrived. So I was seeing like way more action on social media this year than any other year, just perception wise and just keeping up on it. So I was like, and then you still don't know. You really still, you can't even judge it by that because, there's so many different factors into it. But I want to tip my hat off to you and to the whole team because I've seen it from the background. I know that there's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of moving parts, a lot of late nights, a lot of just paperwork and stuff. And you guys continue to do it year after year for these families. And it makes such a huge difference. And the fact that you guys care, I think that's the major thing that sets you apart from a lot of other nonprofits. Because you guys pour your heart. It's everyone on the team genuinely wants to be there. Everyone genuinely gives 110% of themselves. And that shows. That's teamwork right there. That is absolute teamwork. So I applaud you guys. When I heard that number, I was listening to Q that morning. I was like, oh my God, $375,000. Oh my gosh. Because I know what a difference that will make with so many families, and so many things that you guys are going to be able to do for that.
No, absolutely. Thank you. And we're just so grateful for everyone that made the effort, who stood in line or maybe waited extra minutes to get their order. Yeah. And I mean, hats off to those teams, worked through the night to prepare for that day, and very late evening. Big crowds that aren't typical in the day-to-day, and they just handle it with such grace and smiles all day. And also, I mean, who gets 100%?
Dude,
nobody does that.
I've never heard of any corporation giving that to a charity. Never.
Me neither. So hats off to Jersey Mike's and their team from I mean, they are just a really incredible company.
They are. Molly, thank you so much for joining us today and just announcing all the goodness that you guys are doing. So, for next year and for the next couple of projects, I know that there's some big things in the works. I would love to have you back as usual to talk about that.
Yeah, thank you. Anytime. It's such a pleasure.
Not a problem. And let everyone know the best way that they can get more information on Bert's Big Adventure, and also if they want to follow you guys on social media.
Absolutely. So if you want to get more information, you can go to bertsbigadventure.org, and Bert is with an E, so BERTS, bertsbigadventure.org. But also following us on social media is such an easy, fast, impactful way to help. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, we're everywhere. And honestly, just following along and clicking like or leaving a sweet message for the kids that we're posting about when we tell their stories is so encouraging and impactful for the families as well. And it seems so simple, but it is such an easy way to kind of give back and help encourage these families as we kind of navigate into hopefully a more normal mindset here really soon.
Certainly. Definitely appreciate
Fingers
that.
crossed.
No, thank you. Thank you guys for all of your love and support. Keeping in mind, anyone to tell you that you can't do what you want to do. You look them square in the face. You tell them, don't believe me. Just watch. Watch what I do. Watch me make it happen. Watch me make history. That's what we're doing this for, the history books. Social media is nice, but real life is so much better. It's way better. I'll talk to you guys later.